I've been carrying this Ruger two-stage folding Tanto knife for about a month now, and I'd like to give my review. A few things right off the bat. I love that it has, I believe these are stainless steel scales. I think it's at least stainless steel on this side, and I think it might be aluminum on this side. I'm not sure. Sort of prefer aluminum on both sides for just weight, but I really love that you can move the pocket clip around 4 different places on the knife. And I actually am carrying this knife on my left side, and so I moved it from this side that it was on right here over to here, and now when I put it in my left pocket, it pulls out to where my finger is directly on the flipper part. I love that it's a true Tanto design. There's only 2 angles. I wish that it was a true flat grind, but that's really hard to find. I might change the profile later. As you can see, it's not a true flat grind because there's one bevel here, and then there's another bevel right here on the end. And a flat grind won't have that extra bevel. If you ever look how Japanese swords are made and how they sharpen them, they simply press this part down upon the stone on the other side and then rub it back and forth. And if you do that on both sides, since there's a natural wedge at a perfect angle, it'll naturally sharpen the edge, and that's the simplest way to sharpen a knife, in my opinion, known to man. Also retains an edge very well, like that. The size of this knife I really like. It's a big knife, but it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's not heavy. The steel is good. I like that it's made by a gun manufacturer teaming up with a knife manufacturer, Ruger and CRKT. Columbia River Knife and Tool, I believe it is. This knife is very sharp out the box. I really like the price point on this knife. I got it at the gun store for like $60, but you can get this on Amazon for about $45. And it's got a nice pocket clip here. There's no safeties, which I like because it's a flipper. It's not going to deploy unless you want it to. The pocket clip has decent tension, and it has a big receptacle for your whatever you're clipping it onto. That way you don't have to pull it up like this when you put it on. Just slide it right on there, nice and easy. It always comes off nice and easy, but it doesn't always go on nice and easy. I like that there's a glass breaker on the end with a lanyard hole. I think every knife should end with a point like this and double as a glass breaker. Not only that, but if you're using it in a combat situation, you want to be able to bash with it as well, because you never know what angle you're going to need to use it at. It's nice and fast. I might put some jimping here on the inner flipper part, just to give that little bit extra grip there underneath, so you never want your hand to slide up over the blade. I really like how when it locks out of all these type of locking mechanism knives that I have, this one, I mean, it goes almost completely over the blade there. Can you see that? So that when you release the lock, I mean, there's no way that is going to accidentally release. It would literally have to break. And then if it breaks, it's not going to release, it's just going to break. So like, look how far up that goes. That is like one of the best locks I've ever seen, and with this style lock. That is pretty amazing. Super hefty blade. They thinned it up a little bit here. You can see the slight bevel on both sides. I'd prefer if they just left it thick as it comes, but they did leave the thickness for the most part all the way in it. I mean, check out my Benchmade H&K knife review, and you'll see how they really tapered through here. And you don't want that. The most likely place that your knife is going to break is going to be at the tip. The Tanto point retains the blade thickness closest to the tip more than any other design that I know of, that's for sure. The geometry and the physics of a Tanto style knife, no point is stronger. This has been proven. They put it through a car door 100 times, barrels hundreds of times. This type holds its edge the best, and it's also one of the easiest to sharpen. Having only 2 edges right there, you don't have to worry about a sweeping motion. You just simply flat motion every single time. This knife came razor sharp. This thing is shave sharp. I really like that about this knife. You can take hair right off super easy. And I don't know if all CRKT knives are that sharp, but this one sure is, and I enjoy that. I think a knife should come razor sharp, shaving sharp. Otherwise, it hardly seems worth it. What else could I say about this? I love the stonewash texture. Really looks good in my opinion, and the stonewash texture is also on the blade. Looks really good. See if I can get it to zoom in there. There you go. I love the stonewash look. It's like a new thing that Nye's been doing for the last few years. I really like it. I don't really get having like two different color scales. Like the scales on this side are jet black, like a gun, and the ones on this side are stonewashed. Yeah, it could be either way. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, that's your handle, but it does sort of look a little bit weird. But if that is the worst thing about this knife, then this knife is probably one of the best value knives that I've ever seen in my life. All in all, I think this is probably the best knife at the cheapest price that I've ever purchased. I give big props to Columbia River Knife and Tool and Ruger for making this, and for the design. It's really good. Jimping on the back here, I don't know if I mentioned that. Jimping here on the back of the handle. All the jimping is great because you want a good grip. You don't want your hand to slide up or down. You don't want to lose it in either fashion. So that's it. It's a great knife. I did loosen it up when I bought it. Got a little Allen bolt there. I did have to loosen that up a bit, and I did oil the hinge to get it to go nice and smooth, and now it's nice and smooth, nice and fast deployment, and I think now it's really great. It's perfect. I mean, I would recommend this knife to anyone. Really, I would give this knife a 10 out of 10. The price is great, the quality is great, everything about it's great. I thought about getting another one and you know, carrying one on both sides, even replacing my $200 Benchmade that I carry on my other side. I really think for the money this is better, and my Benchmade, you can watch my video on that review, but you have to have this safety on, and it doesn't, it deploys at the same speed as the auto Benchmade. So, and you can see it's a bigger knife. It's not like a clip point Tanto, it's an actual Tanto. And this one, when I bought it, was nearly $200. You can get it for about $150 now. And sure, it's neat, but you know what? This flipper, in my opinion, is just as neat, and you could buy 3 of these currently for the price of 1 of these. And this knife is bigger, and in my opinion, better in almost every single way. You don't want safeties. This is not going to slide open on accident in your pocket. A safety just means that when you need it the most, you got more things to do before you can get it. And in my opinion, that's a bad idea. And that's the reason I'm talking about this sort of thing. So, there's my knife review for the Ruger CRKT 2-stage folder Tanto. I recommend, if you're looking for a knife at a decent price and you want ridiculously high quality, this is the one that you want. Trust me. That's it for this knife review. Catch me on the flip side. Till next time, peace.